All right. Yeah, buddy, you got to take profit. You guys got to take profit. You can't just sit and watch it. I mean, I don't, I don't know where things go from here. For some of these assets that have been racing ridiculously lately, but nothing moves that fast um, for too long. So, in the same way that we had a reset, remember Monday we had a big reset, and Wednesday we had like a little reset, and the story sloshes around from, altcoins back to Bitcoin, back to Ethereum, which Ethereum is just useless. I don't know if you guys have tried to do any kind of normal transactions, but my guess is the reason Fetch is running is a couple of things. One, people trading the Ethereum Fetch, small time players aren't trading it because unless you have a whole bunch, it doesn't make sense because of the Ethereum fees. On the other side of it, the stuff that's locked over on Cosmos Station is locked, and there's an unwind period, a thawing period. And even if you, at the beginning of this big run a week ago or 2 weeks ago, you unthawed, you're still not thawed out yet. You're not ready to sell those tokens. I would expect a glut of Fetch tokens to get sold here in the coming 10 days. For people that are just, way in the money, that were unfreezing tokens that are going to be able to get access to them. They're going to hit the bid. I mean, well, they're going to hit the ask. They're going to sell those tokens. They would be stupid not to. So yeah, and Fetch is doing some cool stuff. As they should. They're a company. Companies are supposed to do cool stuff. They're certainly doing a lot more than Singularity Net is. And, well, let me say it this way. They're doing a lot more on the business side. Singularity Net's doing a lot in the, cerebral side, in the brain, and on the academic side. The fact that Singularity Net has run with Fetch is quite serendipitous. So, take that for what it is. All right. Let's see. But yeah, Barry, good on you for getting a nice little exit. This one is spice coconut. I don't even know how you can have spice coconut coffee. I think what they do is it's just the smells. I don't think it tastes any different. No, there's no coconut taste in there. That's just smell. All right. Well, listen, smell is most of your taste anyway, right? So 1-0. The joke's on me. All right, Barry. You will be giving me. I'm not gonna mess you up too bad. From you, I don't even want a Rolex. I think I will take. What would be something fancy? I want some Nike Air Force Ones, the Louis Vuitton ones. No big deal. I think they're like 11,000. You can cop for that. Now that you're fetch rich, a fetchionaire. Okay. Hello. So we're gonna start with your Q&As. Let's keep it less about specific assets and more just about overall decision making. Let's try to frame everything in game theory and cognitive bias. Best decisions. Hello. Yeah, going on your fourth 2x take 10. Nice. Okay, so that means, you got in under 10 cents then, right? Because that'd go $1, that'd go $2. No, you must have gotten in near a nickel, like really, or did the market just reset a few times? Either way, Sherry, from you, since I'm going to get those Air Force Ones, size is 9.5, Barry. Write that down. Let's see. From Sherry, I'm going to have, with those Air Force Ones, I'm going to need some nice socks. Nice. Not any of this bullcrap Ross store stuff where I shop, by the way. I always shop at Ross. Does anybody here go to Ross? That place is awesome. I mean, awesome. Every now and then you'll find a matching pair of shoes, and they're good ones. because they get all the stuff that comes from Nordstrom's rack. So Nordstrom rack is like the second hand, not second hand, but like stuff that they couldn't blow out at Nordstrom. Then that stuff goes to Ross. I mean, they're only like 40 feet away. The Ross that I go to is right by Westfield Galleria in Sherman Oaks. So it's right there. And there are deals to be had, but it's very hard to match the same size shoes. Like you'll find like the most amazing shoe, and then the other one is like a size smaller, and you're like, dang it. Or you'll find like, anyway, whatever. It's tough. It's like the Hunger Games of like clothing. But if you hit it on I'll give you a hint. Everyone, lean in. For all those of you that go to Ross, Tuesday around 1 p.m. is when you go, because Tuesday in the morning is when they restock from the big stores. Just saying. Don't make all this money and then give it away doing stupid shit like buying Nick shoes and Rolex watches. I'll take them, but don't do it. But I'll take them. One of my buddies, I'm not gonna call him out. Let's see. He's made since he's been trading as a digital private client. He's made 8 figures. Think about that for a second. 8 figures in about 18 months, we'll call it, year and a half. And he's not barely in the 8 figures. He's in the 8 figures. And I always joke with him every time, like he'll say like he's done something good. I'll say, okay, that's another Rolex. Thank you. And he's like, no, I'm going to do one better. Turkeys for life. I was like, turkeys for life? What does that even mean? And he was going to send me turkeys forever. Like for the rest of my life, he was going to send me turkeys on Thanksgiving. I was like, no, man, I don't want that's tantamount to wholesale slaughter and genocide, turkey genocide, a turkicide for life. That's not how we celebrate success here, people. We do it the old-fashioned way with Rolexes and Lambos. Okay. All right. I'm not kidding about the turkey thing. That's true. Okay. Took 20% off the table. Good. I did a 2x take 10. So again, my second exit on AGIX yesterday at, well, it doesn't matter what the price is because it was yesterday, but it wasn't at the high and it wasn't at the low. It was kind of right in the middle. And I haven't even looked back. Yawn. It's converted into USDC. It's earning me 5.1%. And if there's a retracement in Bitcoin, I'd have to consider maybe putting part of it in Bitcoin. But again, when you take profit, the idea is to kind of get it out of your investment portfolio, at least for a while, and let things cool down. Cool heads, cool minds, calmer minds, right? Let's see. Still waiting for your unlock. Yeah, that's going to be, that may be, that's 21 day. I think a lot of people are. We'll see. But I mean, God, Fetch has had a pretty astronomical run. I don't really want to get into markets too much, but we could look at, I'd have to go behind the wall. That's what we'll do tomorrow. Tomorrow, behind the wall, we're going to look at things that have moved too far, too fast. And we're going to be very pragmatic about how we approach next week. Because remember, the countdown is, April 18th. It still looks like that is the halving date. So, we're 40. Well, so that's a 40 day. That's 40 days out, 41 days out, something like that. I think we got our math wrong. Philip is the keeper of the halving keys. So he'd have to tell us. Okay. Let's see, only unstaked for 10x, didn't plan for the 2x that came after 15 days. Well, that's, you crushed. So are you already unstaked and you got your exit? If so, oh yeah, you probably had a good one because you've been around for a while. So I'm going to say Rolex Dive Master in the stainless steel. I'm not going to screw you over. So I'll have a Dive Master stainless steel blackface. Thank you. All right. Good morning. Coconut. Do you put like coconut oil in the coffee? Like as a separate thing, like you just pour it in? See, coconut's good, but it makes things kind of like dewy and oily. Um, Honestly, I'm gonna tell you what I have. I just get this one big giant box of K cups that has tons of different flavors. If you just look up like on Amazon, K cups bulk multi flavor, there's these grab bags of like different flavors, and you get like 200 different ones. You don't know what you're gonna get from one to the next. I mean, I guess you can read it, and some of them they just has a question mark. You don't even know what you're eating, which is probably not super safe, but they're good. You just pop them in, boop, 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 done. All right, put the real stuff in there. Let's see. Flavorless coconut. If it's flavorless, what's the point? Is it just like for the health benefits? I don't care about the health benefits. I want it to taste yummy. When I say reduce anything to math, please elaborate. Game theory. Um, you can take any situation and reduce it pretty close to just mathematical decisions, right? Like imagine you're at a stoplight, or you're approaching a stoplight. There's three lanes. One lane has a school bus. It's on the far right. One lane has a Prius, a Tesla, and a Civic, and then one lane has like a work truck with a lawnmower. You can score those by how you imagine, based on your estimations, how you imagine how fast they're going to move forward and create space for you and let you move forward in traffic. And so you could do a little payoff matrix, but you could score them, and you could say, okay, if you make points, this is just a weird one, but if you make points relative to the amount of distance they're going to get, so like a 1 is they're going to haul ass, a 2 is they're going to be a little bit slower, a 3, a 5, they're stuck there. The school bus is a 5 because they have to stop and they have to put up the little sign, and you can't pass. If you're behind a school bus, you're not allowed to pass. You have to be beside it. If they flip out the stop sign, you can't do anything. So, the trash guy. Give me a second. I got to see which one he's doing because I got to hack the trashes. Hold on. Okay. They're going for the black ones. All right. Okay. I got to pull a shenanigan. This is hard to explain, but give me 3 minutes to pull a shenanigan. I will be right back. I'll turn on some music for you. I have to go hack the trash because they only gave me one trash thing. So I have to flip sides of the street and use the neighbor's trash. It's a long story. I'll be right back. Okay. Woo. Ooh, that was a good hack. I only have like 45 seconds. You only have 45 seconds when the truck goes. Whatever side of the street he hits first, you take your other stuff, then you go hit it, and then you go back around, you put it on the other side, then he gets that stuff. You get 2 dumps. It's not easy. And if you miss it by 13 seconds, no bueno. Okay. So Wednesday. Wednesday. We're on Wednesday now. 41 days left. Okay, let me make the adjustment. Hold on. I had it at 39. What a faux pas that was. Okay. All right. So, the school bus is going to be a 5 because it's going to have to make those stops. It's going to pop out the stop sign. The one with all the electric cars, you would think, well, there's a Tesla, there's a Civic, there's a Prius. The Prius is not going anywhere because those, no offense if you have a Prius, but from what I've determined, Prius drivers are among the douchiest drivers on the planet. They are very self-important, very prideful. They think that they're doing the world a service. They're not. They drive like shit, and they just get in everybody's way. And they're kind of like snarky about it. I've never met anyone with a Prius. I know one person with a Prius, and he got rid of it, and then he became a better person. Okay, so I'm not getting in that lane for like a bunch of reasons. I would give that like a 3 because then you have 3 cars to deal with, and the Prius will screw everyone, even though the Tesla will probably haul ass. Then you go, oh well, the guys with the trucks and all, like the landscaper truck or like the work truck, those dudes have somewhere to be. They get paid, so they're probably going to haul ass. So where most people would go, probably in the middle, I would go behind the truck, and then you do that over enough times, you start to see like patterns forming. But you can reduce all of this stuff to math. You can reduce basic decision making to math. I know, God, man, the slow Prius. Oh my God! And they're everywhere. They are everywhere. So, yeah, Butler, man, you guys must think I got it good. Butler. I run around cleaning up after Kitty. Meow meow. When he gets in his little stance, and I know he's just going to tear shit up, so then I have to go just right behind him and clean up stuff. Even though I have those robots, I do have robots that go clean. I'll get a better robot when Optimus comes out. If that's the first one, I'm going to get it. Can you imagine having a little T1000 walking around your house cleaning up? How awesome would that be? The Ford Falcon is the slowest car ever built. There are motorists who stepped on the gas at a red light in 1964, still waiting for their car to move. Yeah, it's just rolling backwards downhill. Okay, so anyway, you can reduce almost all decisions to game theory, and game theory is there's 195 people here. What is SIPG? SIPG in game theory is what? This is the most basic. This is like the only thing you have to know. The only thing you have to know to immediately welcome the thoughts and concepts of game theory. Let me get to it so I can put it up after you guys brilliantly answer it. Yes. The strategic interdependencies. You could also interchange that for interactions. So it's the strategic interdependencies or interactions between players in a game. Yes, you guys are good. Good. Very good. Very good. Very good. You guys are getting your stuff. And so if you think about that in any situation, where any 2 objects have to move past each other, there is some game theory involved, right? So another way to kind of think about game theory in a little bit more specific terms is the study of the mathematical models of strategic interaction between rational decision makers. And I'm going to hang on rational here for a second. A lot of times people say, well, what do you do about crazy people or gamblers, like people that are pumping meme coins and all this bullcrap? Well, it's the same thing as people walking into a casino. It's funny because in the crypto space, those of us that do research, we get mad at people that invest in meme coins and gamble and all that stuff. But if you think about it, that doesn't make any sense. You don't get mad at people that go into a casino and gamble their life away. Like, okay, good, go do it. Go gamble. Be a gambler. Who cares? In the crypto space, it's almost like we're offended. Like, how dare you gamble on meme coins and stupid shit? Stupid's gonna stupid. There's no, like, let them. Who cares? It's more money in the space. For every 100 dumbasses that open up a Robinhood account just to peddle meme coins and other bullshit, probably 10 of them are going to stick around. Especially if any of them made money, they might stick around and go, okay, what is all this whole crypto thing? Like, what's it really all about? And if you get 2 or 3 out of that 100 that ever turn out to own anything that's not just ridiculous, stupid, garbagey, gambly shit, that's a victory. That's a slow, kind of clunky onboarding, but you're getting people used. So welcome them. Hey, you want to come in and gamble? Buy up all the Solana meme coins you want, buddy. All the way, Pepe, to the moon. Who cares? Come in. Be a dumbass. YOLO your ass in. You're still going to work a day job forever, but at least you're in the space. At least you're helping propagate the word. So rational is the key. When you're playing against irrational decision makers in any scenario, it doesn't matter. You still want to do what is the best. You want to make the best decision that among other rational players or entities. You can't fathom or imagine what crazy will do. So don't even bother yourself. Don't even toil in it. Just move past it. It's a rounding error. There's a lot of dummies. I got people texting me I used to have it a lot. It was towards the end of the bull market. Oh man, I'm crushing it with these. I'm crushing it with this leverage and all this kind of stuff. I said, you're going to lose all your shit. No, man, I'm being smart about it. You're going to lose all your shit. They lost all their shit. Because dummy's going to dummy. And luck is not a strategy. Stupid is unfortunately is a strategy. So they're going to lose all their shit. But a couple of them, they may have stayed around. Hard to say. Anyway, so it's a study of the models of the strategic interaction or interdependencies, interconnectedness between rational decision makers. It has applications in all fields of social science, as well as logic and computer science. Game theory is used to analyze economic competition, economic phenomena such as bargaining, mechanism design, auctions. Boy, you can learn a lot about game theory through auctions. For those of you that really want to dig into game theory, there's a great video you can Google. Well, you would technically just Google because they own YouTube. On YouTube, if you look up Tim Roughgarden, game theory, I think maybe just auctions or online auctions. He did a series of videos, 2 or 3 really in-depth videos. Matter of fact, probably like 5 or 6. A whole series specifically to the formation of auctions, game theoretically, incentivizing people when to bid, last chance auctions, victory auctions, and all this kind of stuff. Really good series, but you got to have your head on because it's heavy stuff, bro. But anyway, auctions, voting theory, experimental economics, political economies and economics, behavioral economics, evolutionary theory too. Like there's a lot of really cool applications of game theory when you get, maybe it's a little bit lost in the name, right? Game. I don't care about video games. Well, this is not that. And then we have in game theory, in order to when we're analyzing these situations, we make assumptions. All right. Assumptions in game theory, like in economics, there's the assumption of rationality and maximization, right? It's assumed that players within a game or a competitive framework are rational and they strive to maximize their payoffs in that environment, right? So if that's the function, if it's a self maximization function, and that's cooked in, and there's rationality cooked into the decision making process, then this is one of the assumptions that we make in game theory, right? When we start to rotate into game theory, more specifically economics, we want to focus on the long-term objectives, like all the groups involved. We want to understand that economics is typically biased towards vested interests. We can see this everywhere. The long run effects, just like weather, are much more complicated than short run effects. Just think of it like at a billiards table, you hit the white ball, you do the break. Things look pretty, predictable when you break. You see the two balls in the corners. You're like, okay, it's very likely they're going to go in this direction, that. But once balls start interacting like particles in a weather system, they go in all directions, and it's very difficult to make any kind of concrete assumptions. Give me 1 second. The kitty's tearing into things. Hold on. Oh, let's do a drive-by. Oh, hi, Bubba. No, come here. Let's say hi. Yeah, let's say hi. Let's say hi. Yeah. Whoa. There he is. He doesn't want to say hi. Can I get a kiss? Yeah. Oh, he doesn't want to be held. Oh no. 2 seconds. I'll be back. He's tearing up more stuff. Okay. He's a handful today. Maybe he had coffee. Maybe he's the one who had coffee. All right. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. The other kitty. Okay, so this kitty had pneumonia. So while he's getting his treatments of amoxicillin, we kept the two cats separate so that he didn't give the other kitty pneumonia. So once he's got the all clear from the vet, then we bring him back. Yes, Roughgarden. Yes, Timothy Roughgarden. Tim Roughgarden. He was at Columbia, and he was at Stanford. He now works. So here's a little pop quiz. Does anybody know which crypto project he works with? Anyone? Tim Roughgarden? Nothing? Algorand. Mm-hmm. Okay, I use game theory to help me decide whether or not to unstake fetch. I figured the price would drop in about 20, 25 days due to multiple unlocks. I think so too, but you may be at a 10x exit part. So yeah. Cat sister. Okay, so let's continue. People, at some level, everybody asks. Matter of fact, I want you to put this. We have 198 of us. Can I do it? And what's in it for me? I want everyone to write that. Can I do it? And what's in it for me? Because it's part of this assumption of rationality and maximization. Can I do a thing? And what's in it for me if I do this thing? We ask this when we're presented with any obstacle, challenge, whatever you want to call it, situation, anything that's presented to us. At some level, we ask, can I do it? What's in it for me? Can I do it? What's in it for me? And this is kind of this fundamental, these assumptions in game theory, they're kind of coded into human behavior. Can I do this? Well, apparently not, PJ, because you only got half of it. So can I do this? No, you can't. But with education, with more training, you can. Okay, can I do it? And what's in it for me? Hey, Bubba. See, then he runs and he tears stuff up and then he comes back and he wants to play. He wants to be cuddly. Can I do it? And what's in it for me? Bam. Okay, let's move on. Economics, like we talked about, it's subjected to vested interest, long run effects, much more complicated than short run effects. And you want to focus on the long run effects as much as you can. That's going to put you out ahead of the assumption curve with everybody else trying to do the same. And that's going to give you a little bit of time to express your ideas in some kind of trading thesis or trading or investment. You have this thesis, and then you want to say, okay, this is my thesis based on where I see 18 months out, 12 months out, 6 months out. Based on what I see, I want to do X, Y, Z. I'm going to now express that thesis in the form of a trade or some action, some economic or financial action that can generate more return than the 5.1% I get by parking my money on Coinbase, which, by the way, pretty flipping good. We're negotiating a car right now. I mean, car negotiations are straight game theory, like perfect game theory. And we were the car. It's one that rents out. It's on the higher end of cars, and it rents out really well. So we get calls for these cars. We just don't have them, and they're very hard to get. Like very few people have them to rent, even in LA, where there's tons of like rental car agencies. And so this particular one, it's a high-end Ferrari, and we've been watching the market for like over a year, Eric and I, and we were looking, and they were, they range anywhere from like $1 million down to like, say, $550K, the sticker price. And that's like base. 550, you're getting some base. Isn't it weird? Like 550K is base, but that's what you're getting. And then it's an SF90 if anybody's interested. So we're watching, and the market was getting a little softer. And we said, if we can get something, because we're also getting a 296, a GTB, which is a hybrid. These are both hybrids, by the way. And we're looking, we're thinking, okay, the 296 is about 450K, and it'll go out for $1,000 a day. The SF90s, because the market is softening, we can get maybe one that's got a sticker price of 650 or 6.25 for about 550, 575, somewhere around there. That thing goes out for $3,000 a day. It's only about 100K more. So you can game theory that out. Now, is there going to be a smaller pool of people to rent $3,000 a day? Yes. But are the people that are paying $3,000 a day going to treat the car better? Yes. So you weigh all these things, and then you go into the second part, which is the negotiation with the dealers and all their shenanigans. And, you can call those lies. So you have to understand funding rates and financing rates, and but it is a whole game theoretical experiment. It's kind of interesting. So for those of you that have done those kind of things, it can be a lot. Okay. Let's get to the next one. Economics. Now we've transitioned because we know that there's that economics has a backbone in game theory. So now we say, okay, well, economics itself is the study of the usage of resources. So that's what I want everyone to write. I want 199 times economics is the study of the usage of resources. And then we can even get more detailed. You could say the usage of resources under specific constraints, right? But economics is the study of the usage of resources. It is about resources. And so we assume, right? We make this assumption that the subject being studied is rational, attempting to maximize his, hers, or its outcomes or profits in an environment where resources are constrained, where they're not infinite. In infinite, finite resources obviously have a greater perceived value than resources that are infinite, right? And then it depends on the scenario, right? You'd say, oh, oxygen, it's cheap as hell. I can just breathe it until you're in space, right? Because then that resource becomes constrained and then it's quite expensive. Or let's say underwater, then it becomes constrained and quite expensive and catastrophic in certain scenarios. So economics is the study of the usage of resources, okay? The aim of studying economics is to understand that the decision process behind allocating the currently available resources, right? So you think, okay, if resources are finite, then the way we decide how to allocate those resources becomes quite important. And there you could say, like on a curve, there's needs are relatively unlimited, resources are limited, and in most cases have some ultimate finite limit, right? So again, that's where we get back to economics being the study of the usage of resources. And then you could add the caveat, or you could addend it under specific constraints, right? Understanding that resources are mostly finite. Okay. Let's see how we did on that. Yes, economics study. This is good because, with anything, it's being brilliant at the basics. And one of them is having a map of this stuff in your mind. And sometimes you just reduce all of this to the simple. Reduce it to the simplest thing. Okay, I know what game theory is. Strategic interdependencies or interactions between players in a game. Okay, cool. So two objects moving past each other that have some friction. And what does that friction look like? And how do each of these entities, create the best situation for themselves, right? And you say, okay, well, how does that rotate into economics? Well, we assume that these individuals, these two entities, are going to do what's best for them if they can. Can I do this thing? What's in it for me? In an environment where resources are constrained or finite, but demand might not be, right? And so under those circumstances, you can start making some pretty good assumptions with kind of varying degrees of concreteness, right? And you can act on those. And then you say, okay, I'm an individual, as all are, that are trying to maximize my own payoffs. I look at a scenario and say, well, can I do this thing? What's in it for me? And then it makes sense why you would want to rid yourself of cognitive bias, right? And so cognitive bias is important to understand because that's something that can get in the way of good decision making. These are the tendencies to think in certain ways that lead us to systematic deviations from a standard of rationality or sound judgment. Essentially, like, why do we make the decisions we make? It's a combination of nature versus nurture versus self-evolution, right? When you decide, when you look back upon yourself. For those of you that have been with us a minute, who here has been implementing or at least been paying attention to your own cognitive biases? Not just in economics or in the markets, but in your personal life, seeing your own biases pop up and just being aware of them. You may not be snapping a rubber band on your wrist every 3 seconds, but you're now starting to become aware. Yes, nice. So For those of you you just try to make the effort. That's it. You try to make the effort. You endeavor to be aware, right? And so if you're aware of these deviations, you start to be able to very quickly edit your own behavior when you do something silly, whatever. And you say, well, that's not a very rational. Remember, we all strive to be rational decision makers. Your best game theory is gonna come when you're as rational as possible. So when you see these cognitive biases popping up in your mind, popping up in your daily lives, and you're aware of it, you see my wife's cognitive. Yeah, Barry, that's actually a cognitive bias. You'll start making on the aggregate better decisions. And if you make better decisions, it's not just going to improve your financial life, it improves everything. Everything, my friend? Yes, everything. Your wife sees mine. How would we see yours, buddy? She doesn't need to see your faux pas. We can give her a list. So it's important that you guys are just aware of these things. It's like no one that walks around with they have zero cognitive bias. They're always game theoretical. Everything's perfect. But you don't need to be perfect, because most people on the planet, they spend zero time and effort on self-improvement, like none. And so when you improve the machine, the outputs are much more efficient, and you just start to melt above your peers, right? And we did that whole discussion where we talked about the benefits of compounded interest related to time, compounded time interest, right? By making little changes in your patterns that get you a little bit of extra time that equal a lot of extra time. There's all sorts of little inefficiencies in your daily life that you could probably tighten up and buy yourself an extra hour and a half. You have an extra hour and a half, and you use it to study something. Heck, use half of it to study. Use the hour to study and half an hour to just be stupid. If you have an hour and a half a day, that's the same as doing another 7 hours of coursework, 7 hours of college study a week, right? So if you think about it, like that, you're a full-time student. So if you can scrape yourself an extra hour and a half, 2 hours, and you use it when other people are not, it makes a huge difference. And you just start melting. Your time is a form of compounded interest, right? Your experience is a form of compounded interest. And guess what else? Compounded interest is a form of compounded interest. And it gets easier to make, because look, your living expenses, the food, things like that, they don't scale the way your portfolio will scale. So it's pretty good. Well, now this is not the same, Donna. Let me explain this. No one multitasks with 100% efficacy. There's only 100% of your mental concentration and acuity to give. There's not like 700%. I know people are like, women multitask, but no. They may compartmentalize better, but no one truly multitasks with 100% efficacy. If you're doing 3 things, those 3 things add up to 100%. It's not 100, 100, 100. You're not getting the same experience on Coinbase, nor are you in the, it's great. I have a lovely honey-laden voice, milky smooth, and it's great background noise. But your absorption rate's not quite the same. You do want to be honest with yourself and be purposeful. Okay. All right. I'm gonna briefly look at markets. I will say, for those of you, Brandon did get his computer back, so he will be adjusting. The people that got, many of you got your 5 NFTs to get your free year of membership. He will sort that out. So, but it wouldn't hurt to drop him an email and say, hey, yesterday I bought 5. Here's my wallet address. Can you credit my membership? He doesn't just know, because some people just buy NFTs to buy NFTs because they want the revenue share. Okay. The only little tidbit of news I have is that I'm almost certain we're a month or less away from the twin TGE. I think this is kind of like what I'm the sense I'm getting. They haven't told me for sure, but my gut feeling is we're a month or less away. Gut feeling. Well, we'll have maybe more on that later. Okay, let's go. We're just going to look at markets and just look, and then tomorrow we're going to comment on them. Okay, let's get this cognitive bias off the screen. What are you doing? That sounds expensive. Hold on. I'll be right back. Oh, come here, Bubba. Whoa, oh, oh, yeah. Here, let's get one more. Say hi. Say hi. I know. You want to bite him? It makes more sense. He's getting big. Whoa. You climb? Go on then. All right. Unless he eats that plant. Nope. Okay, he's being good. He's being goodish. All right. As we look at this thing, we got the total. Hey, buddy. And there he goes. Total market cap, 2.5 and change. Knocking on the door. I don't know. I feel like this thing's got to pull back. I don't think that Bitcoin has much of a pullback coming because I just think this is overall just net interest. There's also a lot of other ETFs launching. We'll probably try to go into that tomorrow if Brandon's with us. Maybe he's not. He's been really playing up his vacation to be just the laziest POS I've ever met. And you know what? Good for him. Vacation, you should like sever the string. So I'm not beating up on his laziness. I am appreciating it. I am championing his laziness. By all means, sir, continue your lazy strategy. That's the game theory of vacation, right? Big cage. I'm not going to get a big cage. Cats don't have cages in the jungle. This is just a more modern jungle. Okay. Ethereum, I think it just keeps rolling into the halving. It will get, I'm almost certain it's going to get punted. They're going to punt the ETF decision, which would be May 10th. So again, you got to look at all the discourse. We're going to talk about Bitcoin for the next 41 days. And then we're going to talk about Ethereum for the next, 20 and change days after that. And then we're going to talk about it after they punt it. So we probably, there's the press enthusiasm machine is only just spinning up. So we'll see. Now, in the time after the halving and after May 10th, before August, June, July, so 2.5, 3 months, do things quiet down and people focus on other projects, on layer twos? That's a behind the wall thing. We'll kind of go into that a little bit more later, but just looking at the market in general, you see things are pretty green. Even look at render. Good. That's great. It doesn't make any sense, but it's good. We'll take it. But just, going down the list, I wonder what new thing render is today. I wonder how they've rebranded themselves today. What completely new thing that's all they do. Every time there's something new, that's all they do. Like when the new Mission Impossible movie came out, Render was like, "We Mission Impossible Render." What? That didn't make any sense. Anyway, Graph Token actually having some good action. Fetch, as you know, Fetch has been kind of nuts. But Fetch is nuts because of actual business deals. AGIX is nuts because of getting sucked up into the AI discussion. I, I I'm not angry. I'm definitely suspicious, but absolutely not. I'm not hurt by it. Arweave goods, it continues to melt up, climb, climb, climb. But when you see coins like Flow up 17%, you know that there's a lot of dumb money that must have recently entered the market, because no one would invest in Flow, knowing how poor of a team they are, how poor of it's just a dumpster fire. So this is, when you see behavior like this, you know that it must come to a stop at some point. This is it may be organic stupid growth. I mean, that's a category we should add: organic stupid. Zcash, I'm interested. It still surprises me that these privacy tokens get any excitement at all, because they're just regulatorily so dangerous. I mean, you're just picking up hot coals. Harmony One, buddy of mine and I were talking, kind of chatting yesterday. That I don't know, it was the day before yesterday. Anyway, in the vast search for layer twos, it is one of them that people eventually stumble upon, and it's something to look at. Store J, data, Ravencoin, junk. Singularity DAO, at least I guess they're token gating their website to some extent. You have to have these different levels of the tokens. I don't know if they've instituted that, but whatevs. Sophia is going up for no reason at all, other than just a market. Rejuve is going up. They're doing they're looking for private money. Just real quick, you guys answer, because maybe I'm completely off on this. Rejuve is looking now. They did their token sale, and that completely shit the bed. So now they're looking for private money, equity. So they're selling equity. Do you think that it makes sense to give them money after their token launch, after them having squandered that? You know what? No. That's a loaded question. That's not fair. I've unnecessarily loaded that question. Let me make it a little bit more elegant. They had their token launch. Perhaps it wasn't as successful as they'd hoped. Are you going to then buy their equity to give them another bite at the apple? Rejuve is doing something. I watched the video but didn't learn anything. Well, then they need to work on their videos. I think that's maybe they're going to use the money to hire videographers. It just doesn't make sense to me. At least, though, with equity, you would have some kind of exposure to some of the things that they do. This is a project that never needed a token, ever. And so then it falls back on the discussion of governance and having competent fiduciaries at the helm. And I just don't think that's the case. Now, it's a health kind of an app that could really be in a lot of. The app is cool for anybody. It's cool. It's a cool app. I use it. It's badass. But I'm not going to give them money. Like money. It's crazy. It's crazy talk. What does not as successful? I'm trying to be nice. I just told you I was trying to be nice. I didn't want to say that they had a token sale that completely shit the bed and that they don't need a token. Damien. I was trying to be nice. Remember, I was saying I wanted to frame it in a way that didn't seem like it was. I was unnecessarily describing it in a harsh way. Anyway, going down the list, you see a lot of assets that shouldn't be going up that are going up. Be happy with it. Take the victory lap. Take your exits if that's what it means. NewNet, should it be going up? Absolutely not. They haven't done shit in like 4 years. It's a complete disaster. But it's a disaster that has, for people that were buying around 1 or 2 cents, they've made some good returns. Hypercycle, we're almost 96 cents. I'm telling you guys, when the squeeze comes, and it's coming. Like, it's even squeezing us. When we fill bundles now, we have to really work hard to fill these bundles. When someone comes to us and says, hey, I need to get 256 licenses plus tokens, all married and all that, it's not a small thing. It takes days. It's work. It's work. And so when compute officially rolls out and it's going to be, you're going to see that token go. And I am cautiously optimistic that it's going to make, I think when compute rolls out, there's just going to be a lot of very interesting things going on. They're just working on a lot of cool things behind the scenes that I would rather let Tufi talk about. By the way, the 15th and 16th for Investor Weekend, guess who's going to be staying with us? Tufi Saliba. And I think one or two of his kids are going to be in town too. They're going to be staying here. So that'll be fun. So the people that are coming for Investor Weekend are going to get like a lot of FaceTime with Tufi. That'll be a lot of fun. Ask him a trillion questions. And then just be prepared for the answers. You're going to get them. And then finally, someone said it in the one of the chats, you know it's a bull market when Cogito's up. Yes, because there's no good goddamn reason this coin should ever go up. It is the worst project with the worst team, with the worst ideas. It's just, if someone honestly said you can own Cogito or the same amount of money in Solana, I don't know if I can't make that decision. I'm verklempt. I can't, my brain freezes for such a decision. I would just jump off a cliff. I was like, you can just have everything. I'm out. I'm not making that decision. The lady or the tiger. No. I don't think that there's a future here other than some news-based, spammy, bullshitty play. And I hold it for that. And if we get 10 cents, my name's Bennett. And this is not financial advice. I'm going to just tell you, this thing ever hits 10 cents, I am out. See you later. Bye. Hasta los huevos. I'm out. And that's not financial advice. That's Nick being out. Is the Investor Weekend just for DPC? The Investor Weekend is not actually for DI or DPC. It's for anyone with 100 NFTs. Anybody with 100 NFTs, and if you're a private client, 50, you can have 50, and that'll get you in the door. And it's the 15th and 16th here in Los Angeles, mostly at my place. But we're going to be going around doing all sorts of cool stuff. Let's see. Do I have a room saved for Steve Leisman? No, I do not. Steve Leisman he's such a dirtbag. Although, you know what? He's softened up in the last few years. I just the thing I have against Steve is not his assumptions are just really flawed. Although I started to see he's starting to kind of melt over into the common sense camp. He still doesn't really understand yield curves. These guys all talk like they understand, but they don't. You can tell that they don't actually understand the mechanics of these curves. They don't understand the signals they're getting. They read it wrong, and they parrot out this nonsense that stimulus or interest rate control has any effect on the market, like over the long term. Fucking zero. Like provably zero. Nothing. Like nothing. And they've done experiment after experiment, and we've had more than 2 decades of QE, QQE, and QE in like all these programs, and interest rate control, and ZERP, and unwinding the balance sheet and loading up the balance sheet. None of it does anything because the Fed doesn't do money. And that's just something that's lost. And so when you hear these guys talk and they're like, well, the Fed's going to go into the market and buy, they don't buy shit, and it's not in the market. They're buying, mostly liquid assets, forcing them out of banks' hands, trading them for illiquid bank reserves, and they're buying them with illiquid bank reserves. So all they're doing is gumming up business for the banks. They're just screwing it up for the banks. Anyway, it's a whole other thing. Anyway, the Fed doesn't do money. So when you have financial discussions about the Fed, easing and money flowing everywhere and liquidity. It's all bullshit because bank reserves are not liquidity. You can't buy burgers with bank reserves. Matter of fact, that's the last thing. I want everyone to put it. You can't buy burgers with bank reserves. Let's see it. Let's see it. Who Bennett is? Well, he ain't in it. That's all you know. Okay. No, that was something a buddy of mine said. He was like a meth junkie rocket scientist. Really, like really a meth junkie rocket scientist. That's a whole other discussion. There's another discussion for another day. That's why I have a bunch of meth junkie jokes. Okay, you can't buy burgers with bank reserve. Can't buy burgers with bank reserves. And on that note, we'll see you tomorrow. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything. My poor insolvent drunk starting on meth grandmother wouldn't do. If we nail this discussion, I'll put in the chats. I'll show you guys the car. I don't want to do it. I don't want to jinx it until we've actually paid these guys their money and the car's on a trailer. Anyway, it'll be fun. Oh, and for the DIs that come, we're gonna go to the car shop, and you guys can check out all sorts of cool. For everybody that comes to Investor Weekend, we'll bus everyone over to the shop and let you guys look at all the badass cars and stuff. Maybe drive them around the block. Who knows? Deuces.